Hey, welcome, family. We're gonna have the second debate tonight about reasons why you don't have to travel to Cuba. But first, a little bit videos about this hashtag.
No me importa el tamaño de monstruo que usted sea. A partir de ahora es fuego con todos ustedes, porque no los queremos aquí. Queremos libertad para nuestro país. Y nos vamos a unir y vamos a acabar contigo con quien se ponga por adelante. Nadie me va a parar. ¡Animales! Esto se tiene que acabar. Y nos vamos a unir y vamos a acabar contigo con quien se ponga por adelante. Nadie me va a parar. Me duele en el alma ver a todos los niños como sufren. Esto se tiene que acabar. Nadie me va a parar. Porque ya no podemos más. Y nos vamos a unir y vamos a acabar contigo con quien se ponga por adelante. Nadie me va a parar. Y algún día los veré a todos ustedes arrastrados y se va a hacer justicia. Nadie me va a parar. A partir de ahora es fuego con todos ustedes, porque no los queremos aquí. Queremos libertad para nuestro país. Nadie me va a parar. Animales, porque no los queremos aquí. Queremos libertad para nuestro país. Esto se tiene que acabar. A partir de ahora es fuego con todos ustedes. A partir de ahora es fuego con todos ustedes. Nadie me va a parar.
Hello. Today I'm gonna do something that I should have done a long time ago. But right now I think it's a special time in history. The dictatorship, the tyrannical dictatorship in Cuba is on its knees. And the only thing supporting it is our hard-earned US dollars. And so, with great relish, I take my passport as you can see, it doesn't expire until 2024. Right here. This is me, by the way. And this is what I'm gonna do. because that dictatorship does not deserve any of our money, because it doesn't benefit the people. At all. Right now they're asking for dollars. So that people can buy food in the stores. They're asking for remittances. They're asking for remittances in US dollars, in euros, pound, but they won't give those remittances in that currency to their families in Cuba. If you're a tourist from another country, when you go to Cuba, you're supporting the dictatorship that pays slave wages to my people. Don't go to Cuba. If you're doing business with Cuba, you are participating in modern day slavery. You are aiding and abetting a government that kills black people, shoots them in the back with impunity, has political prisoners, infects LGBTQ activists and environmentalists with HIV in order to shut them up, denies cancer treatment to people that think differently, like professors from Havana University. When you go to Cuba, when you support that government, that economy, with your money, you are an accomplice to human rights violations. You are an accomplice to the destruction, the hobbling, the mutilation of the spirits of 11 million people.
So, hi, family. It's a pleasure to me to present to everybody tonight our coordinator in Las Carolinas and our coordinator in Atlanta and Georgia, Riquet Caballero and Iskra. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, Lázaro. Hi, Iskra.
I thought we were already live. I was like, wait, what's going on? He's already live. And I thought I was going to be live too. What's happening? He's all by himself. Oh, okay. You guys tricked me.
So sorry, boys. I have nothing to do here. I'm going out. The platform is yours. Thanks.
You guys,
bye.
You guys need to warn me the next time. I'm going, okay, I don't know what's happening. Do I have to leave?
You need to read the private messages at this side or something like that. Look, next time. Bye.
Sorry, I am technology challenged sometimes, but I try. Great presentation, Riquet, and I think you prove a point. At some point in our lives, we have to come to the conclusion of saying, what really matters. Do we really want to just think about us? Because yes, we can go to Cuba, on a penny, maybe. Obviously it's not a penny, but it's some people can go. Canadians travel to Cuba very cheaply compared to other people. Obviously Cubans can't, but from other countries they're traveling to to Cuba is inexpensive compared to going elsewhere. But we have to think, what about the people in that country? So I know, there has been much restoration to certain parts of the historical parts of Cuba, specifically for tourism. Most of the money that is comes into the country by the government is used specifically for tourism to make new hotels and to restore these specific tourist areas, because of course that's the only way. They have several ways of bringing in money, but one of the major ways is tourism, and the second way is us, right? The people, the family members out here that send money in, which that's another topic, and but and another live session, right? But I mean, so it comes to the point where you have to say, enough is enough. We need to.
That's right. That's right, Iskra. And it's not just that they are, basically using that income, that revenue that they get from tourism to, line their pockets, build up more of their government, military, elite companies, right? Because remember, Gaesa is owned by Callejas, or is run by that guy. So the military elite have the tourism business.
Right.
They promote tourism. They get that revenue from the Canadians, the Spanish, the Italians, everyone else, the UK, etc.
Yeah.
And they just grow their business in a very capitalist way. But they don't use that money to, for example, build or at least maintain or just repair hospitals, schools, homeless shelters, right? There's people living in shanty towns now, right?
We've seen the images. I mean, the beginning of this video itself, we've seen, some of those images, and I think, we should put more of those images out there. Last night there was an image of this little boy on the web, and I hope, I don't know if we have that image anywhere, and I know Fania is online, and I hope she can help me find that image of this little boy that was circling around Facebook last night. And
one more thing, and that was that there's been several cases of buildings, very old buildings, not being maintained and then crumbling with people inside and people dying. And what has been shown is that the government is letting old architecture from the 50s in disrepair on purpose, with people inside, crumble so that they can then clear out that block and sell it off to some foreign interest that wants to build a hotel. So they let the building crumble, killing people and putting people on the street. They don't provide another house or shelter for that family, and then they turn around and they sell that land. Obviously, when you do a deal with the Cuban government, they're gonna take a cut, or they're gonna take 50% of the income or whatever. But these foreigners come in and then they build up a hotel, and they even use foreign labor. There's Indians now working in Cuba when Cubans are starving.
Yes.
So that's something to think about.
It's a shame that a lot of people don't realize what happens, and it doesn't take much. Normally, what happens is when you go on a scheduled vacation from them, they only take you to certain areas. But if you have a little bit of time on your own, it doesn't take 1 or 2 blocks for you to, travel east or west of where you're at, and you can see the reality of what our people are suffering through. and what these buildings are going through, and the I mean, it is outrageous. The conditions that these people, and one of the buildings that collapsed was on top of 3 young girls. I think they were 10 and 12 years old. So I mean, we have to be conscious, of what really goes behind our traveling. I mean, that's just like honestly, we just have to be extremely conscious of what is happening with our money. Where is our money going?
Exactly.
And additionally to that, a lot of this money is used to continue to spread communism all over Latin America. And of course, and we continue to see this spread because it's a cancer that continues to spread throughout the world. And
There's also the other side of the coin, right? And that is the sexual tourism, the underage sexual tourism. There are a lot of people that go to Cuba to take advantage of little girls and little boys, to take advantage of young women that go to college, but they're starving, so they need to sell their bodies. Young men that also sell their bodies to other men, old men. There's also older women from other countries that go on these salsa trips. And you see them walking around with very young black men in the island, women from the UK, etc. So there's filth. There's a lot of very strange things going on.
It's the stories I've heard. I mean, the stories I've heard from and their kids. Look, a lot of them are they're not even in high school yet. Okay, yep. I'm talking about 12, 13, 14-year-olds. Okay. Whoa. These are children. These are girls that are just getting, and a lot of them will do anything, just not even for money sometimes, just a perfume, just have them take me to a hotel.
A new pair of underpants, underwear, I've seen that, I heard that.
Food for the day, because they don't have food. And, that's how bad things are right now. And that's where we stand. And so this is our reality. And as much as we pride ourselves in, and I've always prided myself in looking at the good of our people, and looking at the good of the beautiful things in our country, we also have to come forward with everything that's happening behind the scenes, and everything that happens, especially when people travel, and what happens there. We also have to, now that you bring up, these, the children, and, the sex, a lot of the governments, when they do treaty with each other, they use these girls, as a way of, paying these men from embassies and from other countries, and the stories I've heard, it's just, I want people to realize, I want people to see, I want people to know that, and I wish we had more testimonies of, and I want people to come in here. I want real Cubans to come in, and of course we're Cubans, but we've been out for a long time, and so we came when we were young. We've gone back, and we've seen their stories. We've seen what it looks like, but it's not the same as testimonies of real people that are going through it right now or that have gone through it not that long ago. And for people to tell us what that looks like, for people to tell us, tell us their story, that would be ideal. If anyone out there would like to give us your testimony, because there's nothing, like telling the truth. The truth will set you free, right? And anything that you can give today, for the sake of others tomorrow, because what we're doing here tonight is basically telling the world that there are human rights being broken, that there are children starving, that there are women being beaten, there are women being traded, and men being traded for sex. And we need to take all of this into account when we go and pay for that ticket to Cuba.
Exactly. There's also, I wanted to mention that in the tourism industry, it is very uncommon to see Black people working in hotels or in areas where you can make a lot of money.
That's right.
The communism makes everyone equal up to a certain point. They give the best jobs to lighter skinned people, right?
That's right.
Obviously, we understand that, maybe in the service industry, you don't want ugly people. However, there are beautiful Black people as well.
Absolutely, there are beautiful Black people. You're one
Right?
of them.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so handsome.
Please. But the next, I bring this up because I had a friend from Virginia, and he's about the same shade as I am, right? And he went to Cuba with his other American friends, and they were white people. And the police kept stopping him, one time in Havana, one time in Varadero, because they thought that he was Cuban and that he was harassing the tourists.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes to show you that there is institutional racism in Cuba. That is actual institutional racism.
Yeah, so
the worst part also, of course, is that these cops are Black, because what the government has done is that they have taken cops or people from the east side of the island, which is has a very large, Black population because it's closer to Africa, right? The east side. And he's brought those Black men to the west side to police communities that are different, alien from them. That way, the police doesn't sympathize with the people that they are oppressing. This is a tactic. Over here, they say, oh no, we need more community policing. We need people from our communities to police ourselves so that, they understand what we go through and they can make, links with the community and there's trust and people can, ask for help. In Cuba, even though they criticize the police here, their racism and oppression and the police state is so much worse because they literally pit Black cops from the east side against the white community or the lighter skin community on the west side. So you're going to have Santiago cops in Havana City, right? Yeah. And then, of course, the people in Havana, they build up an enmity. They're like, oh my God, all these Palestinians is what they call them, Palestinos, right? Because they come from the Orient, the East. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Right. And what you do there is that there is a distrust between the police and the community that they oppress. I won't say police because they don't do policing, they oppress. Right. And that is by design.
And corruption.
All right. Of course, But so those are the legal Easterners in Havana because
there are many illegals So many illegals. That's
Inside the same country, you can be an illegal immigrant. That's right.
now explain to us, because a lot of the people here don't understand how can you be illegal in your own country?
Yep. If you ever heard of South Africa and apartheid, where you have to walk around with an ID and it shows, your town where you're supposed to be in, and then, there's roadblocks and everything. We have that in Cuba. You cannot just pick up and move to Havana and that, hey, you know what? Now I live in Washington, D.C. Now I live in Georgia, in Florida. No,
No, that's
you're not allowed.
you can't work, you can't get a job, you can't legally. So it's basically you're like an illegal immigrant here in the States.
That's right. Yeah.
You're not allowed to get a job. You're not allowed to get housing. None of that. Correct.
So what do you have? We have a lot of country or people from outside Havana, people from the East that go to Havana to work illegally, to prostitute themselves,
Right.
to become pimps as well,
Yeah.
to join gangs, to sell drugs. I mean, everything that you do in Cuba is pretty much tainted by illegality just by nature of you trying to survive. But on top of that,
Right.
you're now an illegal alien in your own country. In the capital of your own country, you're an illegal alien. Go
And
figure.
of course, we're talking about Havana because it is the major city. It's the capital, and just like in every in every city and in every country, where the biggest city is the most corrupt, and it's where the biggest population is, and this is where a lot of the tourism happens, and this is where the biggest corruption is. And so, a lot of the prostitution goes. This is where the drugs are
Right.
aimed. This is where the gangs most are. Outer cities, you can see less of this. We're not saying it doesn't happen, but of course, this is where the majority of this happens. And so, safety. A lot of people feel safe. Think that Havana is safe. And to a certain extent, it is, because there's no guns per se like in the U.S. But let me tell you, I have seen some very nasty fights with knives and machetes. And so, if you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, I have not seen safe. And the police are not there for your safety. They're actually there just to protect the government, not the people.
That's right. There was also that case. Well, I mean, there's a video of someone getting stabbed in the middle of Havana. Somebody chasing them, calling for help, and then the guy got to them and stabbed them to death. There's also the incident with that gang that basically terrorized a park and just hacked people apart. Also in a suburb of Havana. It happens all the time. People get stabbed all the time. What about those? That girl that just got raped by 5 men. She was 15, and she was talking to a guy online. The guy was 20. She went over to his house. They had sex, and then he invited his friends into the room, and they gang raped her. And now,
and nothing has happened.
That's the other part. That's right. The police have done nothing. Yeah, they're looking for them.
This has not made any headlines. This has not made any. I don't understand. There's no news on this. The world doesn't know about this. Where's the human rights to this child? This is a 15-year-old child.
That's right.
That got raped by several men.
Yeah.
On several occasions.
Yeah, and the mother also said that she has some kind of STI now, as well. There was the other case of the 2 girls that were raped by the police, and then they threw out the case initially, right? When the mother went to complain, they turned her away, and then because of us on social media made such a big deal of it, then they finally went after the officers. But they say over here, oh, the police, there, there's a, what was it, like a blue wall of silence or something, or they look out for each other. They don't take care of the bad apples. The whole barrel in Cuba is rotten. Let me tell you, there's only far and few between good people. I mean, the system just grinds you down. If you're a police officer, you're also starving. So in order for you to have a little bit more, you just have to become the worst oppressor. You have to confiscate food from people selling like oranges on the corner, right
So
over here.
survival, right? I mean,
Yeah,
basically everybody is starving. And so this is a system of survival, and it's the needy for the needy, and you just, it's whoever gets the most this is how it is. It's the survival skills, and we're all unfortunately we're animals, and and it's a shame what's happening, and so we need to get the word out there, guys. This
yeah.
cannot continue. We cannot continue to face the other way and turn our
Quick,
back.
quick shout out to James. Hey, James, how's it going, brother? I wanted to also say that it is very annoying, you American or you non-Cuban person, when you say that you want to visit Cuba before it changes.
Yes.
We're 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 not monkeys in a zoo. We're people. Okay. So to you, it might be quaint to see, an engineer r- driving a busy taxi, a bicycle taxi, a rickshaw or whatever, to make a living, to put food on the table for his family. To you, it may seem, oh my God, look at that. That is so weird. It's like Alice in Wonderland. But to us, those are our family, those are our friends, and that's reality, right? People's whole entire lives. This thing has been going on since the 50s, right? Like, so there are people have been born into this, like my parents have,
61 years.
and
Yes.
their whole lives have gone basically to waste. Okay, let's be honest. Like, whatever potential you think you have here, you see a little baby in the street over here, they could be the president of the United States, they could be an astronaut, they could be this. No, you're gonna be an engineer and you're gonna ride a busy taxi. That's how you make your money, from tourists riding on your busy taxi, and
You're
the tourists.
lucky enough to have money for a busy taxi. A busy
Oh, that's
taxi
right. No, you have to get the busy taxis because there's no like Walmart with like bicycles for you to buy, or like Home Depot to buy pieces to like put things together. No, you have to finagle your way, steal, have somebody living outside of the country to send you the
a
pieces.
busy taxi
When they
is
send it,
minimum $5,000 for a
right,
busy
you gotta get a license. I'm sure, like the government
taxi.
charges
There
you.
is a license process, and they can take that away from you at any time because the
Right,
government doesn't want people to upscale their lives.
and that's the other part. Like the licenses for any type of business that you set up, they cost so much, and the taxes are so high that you can never be prosperous in your business. You can just keep it afloat because the
right.
government doesn't want you to actually be independent,
Yeah,
right?
and yeah, that's a whole other.
That's also another live stream,
We have
but
so many things that we can talk about, right? I
that's
mean,
right.
education. I mean, there's no such thing as free education, people. Let's
Right.
be real, okay? There is no such thing as free medicine, okay? Our we Cuban medicine is not free, and it is, yes. You go to the doctor, but there's nothing there. You go to the hospitals, they're falling apart.
Yep.
There's no
Filthy,
medication.
bug
There's
infested, rat
no
infested.
resources.
Hmm.
There's nothing there.
Oh, Jose Cala has some personal experiences right here. Do you want to join us, Jose?
Let's bring him in.
That'll be interesting. And Orencio Ruiz. How you doing, Orencio?
Maybe we should put the link and have people bring
I'm
in
doing
there.
great.
Hello, Horacio. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just new to these notifications, which is awesome.
Well, we are too. Don't worry. You're in good company.
Awesome. I like it.
So we felt, Horacio, we felt it's time, especially, there's a lot of live now, of course, YouTubers in Spanish, talking about the Cuban, what's happening in Cuba. But we felt that we needed to communicate more to the Anglo community because a lot of people just don't understand our reality. And we feel it's time to really get the word out there to not just the Anglo community, but internationally. People need to understand the truth, the reality of what really goes on.
This is awesome. That's good. It's good to send out information to anyone that needs to know about our problems. I don't know if this is a good start to something.
Where do you live?
I live here in Miami.
Oh, okay.
So can you tell us of have you visited Cuba recently, or when was the last time you were there?
Oh no, I was there about like 7 years ago.
How was that?
It was okay.
And how
I'm from a small town, farming town. So, I mean, the economics of it and the politics of it, it's not good. But there is a whole bunch of old people that are awesome. Guajiros in Cuba.
Yeah.
I mean, I never felt better. I mean, I didn't go to like fancy places and stuff. I went back to my town, and I really admire those old people. They still have that sense of pride. I couldn't even pay for things. They were broke and they didn't have any money, but they would still want to pay for things instead of letting me pay for things, which usually that's not the case in Cuba. So I actually felt there was still some group of people that's as an example for all of us.
That's very good, Orencio.
Generation, and I agree with you. I found some of that myself the first time I went. And that is the older generation. And of course, when you're with family and close relatives, that happens a lot.
Yes, we're not bashing the Cuban people, right? We're bashing the system and the government. Just so everybody knows.
I understand. I just say that I felt good. I felt good within those older people. We had a great generation, which is the generation, that pushed us forward here. Senators and big businesses and different things, and we should strive for that again as young people again, because I look up to that generation.
I remember. Have you guys ever seen that movie, Cuba and the Cameraman?
Oh, it's great.
Yes.
That movie broke my heart. I saw those old people. Every time he would go back and he would see them just suffering so much
and going backwards. Yes.
Oh my God. That was tough, man. Like there's something we have to do another show on how farming works in Cuba and how it's actually serfdom. So the best, for just so you know, so the best produce goes obviously to these hotels.
Right.
That's what you're eating, and the worst produce and the rotten things, literally, I mean, goes to the people. The people go to the government stores. And the fruits and the vegetables are dirty. They literally have dirt and they have bugs on them, and they're just out of date as well. And the worst part of this is that the farmer, how here we have like Starbucks has these like responsible coffee where they pay a certain amount to the farmer, and it's like farm to table and fair trade. Fair trade. In Cuba, the farmer sells to the government at a loss, meaning that It is like the old times, you know, in Europe where you have serfs on your land and you're a noble and you say, I'm gonna buy this wheat at whatever the F I want, and you're gonna have to take it, and you may keep a little bit to eat, maybe. But those cows, you cannot touch them. You cannot hunt them, right? Remember when you used to get hung when you hunted in the nobles' grounds? The same thing happens in Cuba. You're a farmer. You cannot kill your cows. You have to have a list of all the cows
That's a
that
whole
you have.
that's a whole Enrique. You
Hey,
I know there's so many tangents.
Enrique.
I'm gonna shut up and let people talk. Sorry. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Enrique. Hi, guys. How you doing?
How are you doing?
I
I
Jose.
really want. Oh my God! Look at Jose. Hi. Hello.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Hey, I
Jose
have,
in the house.
Hey, there
I
is
have a tocayo.
discrimination there.
I have a tocayo in the house.
Everybody's happy for one Jose. The other Jose is being ignored. Not good. Not good.
No, I just wanted to go through some points. You know, my name is Jose.
Hi.
Hi, Iska. Hi, Enrique. So nice to be with you guys. I'm sorry, my English is like I'm new in the States, so I have
That's
some
perfect.
issues with the language. So I hope you guys get me.
Excellent.
So I'm from Havana, Cuba. Actually, I got here 2 years, almost 2 years ago. And
Wow.
but I studied English before, so I was a tour guide in Cuba, and then I worked with German customers. And let me tell you, so I wanted to weigh into the traveling to Cuba, being a former tour guide. There is some like inside things that most people don't know because they don't work in the tourist sector, and maybe it will be interesting for everybody.
Yes, please.
I work for Gaesa. You know, Gaesa. It's from the military commemorate, like many of the tourist enterprises in Cuba. So I was a tour guide there, and you know, I have a lot of good colleagues that work in the tourist, and they are being forced nowadays today to do like propaganda for the tourists, for the hotels from Gaviota, Cubanacan. They are forced to do that, and although I'm against the communism 100%, I really don't want to. I don't like to go into their publications in Facebook to to trash about the dictatorship because that's their food and their family. So I don't go into that.
Of course.
But I work as a tour guide for almost 4 years. And here's something. I don't want to name the company because the company, they treat me well in a way. But this is how much they charge per person. I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to cover the name. So this is how much they charge per person for a 15-day trip to Cuba. Okay?
Okay.
So this is how much they charge. I don't know if you can guys see it.
Not really.
Not there. Not there.
Mm.
Let me see. Oh, wait. So it's like, I don't know, like 2,070 euro per person. Okay. So they do that, and they pay. So they pay the tour guides in Cuba from the government companies. They pay like, I don't know, like $35, $36 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So, and each customer, each of those Germans or French or I mean, those are European companies. So each of them pay 2,017 euros for a 15-day trip.
Right.
That money goes straight to the military.
Right.
Goes right straight there. So, and then you have to hustle for oh man, I lost it. Yeah, right here.
The tips.
Right here. You see right there?
Yeah.
2,328 euros per person. So imagine the groups are from 15 people.
Right.
So you have 15 people paying $2,300 euros. That's like $250 every 15 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get paid only $35 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. You cannot ask for tips. If you ask for tips, and one of those clients write an email. Hey, my guy, he asked me for tips. Then you can be fired from the company.
Right.
But you have to pay a tip for the employees that work in the office.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You who earns $36 a month, that takes care of 15 people that are paying in total $30,000 for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You have to pay out of your pocket to the people that work with you in the office.
So you have to pay out of your pocket, a standard tip per capita. You have like 20 clients in your tour. So they say, so the office say, so you have 20 people, so you have to pay $1 per person per day, or I don't know, 20 cents. What's like 20 cents per person per day?
But it's the tourist that has to pay, not you, the tour guide, correct?
No. It's a tour guide. So this is how it works. So when you go on your trip, with your group, like 15 days all around Cuba. When you go back, so you have to pay a tip for the employees in the office.
Yeah, because let me explain to Riquet because he doesn't understand. What happens, Riquet, is supposedly those employees in the office were the ones that managed to give him those tours. The
reservations, the hotel, the bookings, So, but
so basically, he's so he has to hustle and make sure that without asking for a tip, he tiene que caer bien. He has to be nice to everybody in the tour. He has to be really, really nice so that everybody does give him a tip, so that then he can actually tip everybody off. Because if he doesn't tip people off, he's not going to continue to get reservations.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Here's a tricky thing. So you are supposed to get paid, by the Cuban company, which you are a worker. So they pay you a salary monthly. So, but you monthly have to give back the tips. So sometimes, you don't have to give back all the tips. So you keep most of the tips. That I have to be honest with that. But the company, the bosses, they force you to give tips to the employees below. So because the salary is so bad that their life depends on the tips the guides give. So once we had a big argument, all the guys, we were like, hey, we don't want to be forced to give more tips. But sometimes guys will give like 120, 80 something, $120 cooks, CUC dollars in tips in a month. And that was a lot. So the guys were, no, we don't want to do that. And, the employees, the guys that coordinate the bookings in the hotels and the restaurant, they got mad because it's their money. And I was like, hey, guys, we shouldn't fight between each other. We have to fight for better salaries.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there, man. So it was so sometimes when you got your salary, so you have to give. So you go there to get paid, and then you have to pay back.
So this is full, people. This is full. That's awesome. Jose, let's the right Jose to talk a little bit also.
How y'all doing?
Hey guys, nice seeing you. Take care.
Thank you, Jose.
This is Jose. My name is Jose. First of all, y'all don't travel to Cuba. Not right now. I would love to tell you to please travel to Cuba, but please don't do it. Many reasons. First of all, your money is gonna go straight into the hands of that dictatorship, and what they do is they use it for modern day slavery with the doctors and with all the medical field when they send it overseas. You're not going to be safe when you go. The families of our people in the embassy were not safe. Some of them got injured at hotels that are like, places where you typically go to frequent, like Hotel Nacional and Capri. Those are Americans were affected. They're not just Americans, but also Canadians. So don't go. Plus, it is a critical time. There's a lot of people in the opposition here. You see a lot of people here, but there's thousands of people outside of Cuba really, really pushing for people in Cuba to use social media and finally get inspired to throw off that government and make a move. So if you this is a critical time where we need the dictatorship do not have any funds to repress the people. And if obviously, as you know now, by everybody's stories, every single dollar you bring in is going to go straight into an oppressor. It's going to go straight into somebody who's going to be beating people up, who's going to be putting opposition leaders in prison, who's going to be eliminating freedom of speech. Is not going. They will block access to the internet of the very low little access to the internet. By the way, when you go, you're going to find out that it's going to be difficult for you in some areas of the country to even be able to get your word out because internet is still not available throughout the whole island. And you also have to pay a pretty high amount to get internet when you're in like a tourist area or with a guide or with other Cubans. So in some, I don't want to. There's a lot of good people here that are going to talk to you, but honestly, don't go. I'll tell you about my story. I've gone with people before from America, and believe me, the experiences are, especially right now. One, it will be a great patriotic thing you would do to defend a lot of people who don't have a voice outside of Cuba, and I mean from inside of Cuba, who cannot say all the atrocities that happen within there. But most importantly, you also be risking your safety. The medical system is not what they sell. You have to pay people off to get a good healthcare if you do go and have some injury or God forbid or anything like that. So my the story here today is like don't trouble. You will be part of change if you decide to help us with this initiative. So don't trouble Cuba.
Well said,
Thank you
Jose.
so much, Jose. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
all
Thank
right.
you so much.
Let's hear from Ernesto, was the next person, then el licenciado Osmel, and then Mr. Da Vinci
You
at
can
the
stay
end.
or come back later.
You can stay there.
Do
Yeah,
we
you
have
can stay.
anybody online? Yeah, I think I can't see. I'm not in the controls, so
I
I'll
got
leave
you.
it
No,
up.
yeah, you can stay, brother.
Thank you.
Hi,
Oh,
Ernesto.
well, thank
Ernesto,
you guys.
first of all, because where are you?
Oh,
Okay, yes.
that was funny. I mean, I was actually living in Georgia. Me and my wife, we were living in Savannah, Georgia, when I
Okay.
started actually enjoy the whole Somos Más group and stuff like that. So then I'm moving because my parents get a little sick, and kind of like health problems. So we moved into Tampa.
Okay.
And I had the pleasure to meet Osmel in the meeting that was Eliezer has in Tampa. That was my first time actually attending to one of those actually.
Thank you, Ernesto. It was a pleasure for me too.
Me too, man. I mean, I appreciate you guys actually get me into this world, because like it was very rough. I was actually losing all my faith on see my Cuba freed again. I can tell a short story of mine. I have a small dream when I was a little kid. I was actually dreaming to be a pilot, become a pilot someday. Once I started, going towards all that, and I grew up, I find out that to be a pilot or consider, being in that career, I had to enjoy the military forces. And I said, no, 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 that's not the life that I want to be. I had to serve for whatever year they decide in order to be considered, to be a civil pilot. That's what I was looking for. And then I had to change my path. That's how the revolution, the greatest change that assassin created in my country, they said that, it's going to help me in education and stuff like that. So I had to force myself to actually find another different path, to go to study, because, you had to do something in life. So I studied.
How do you feel about the topic that we're talking about today? How do you feel about people traveling to Cuba, Ernesto?
I feel like I would say, like Jose said it before. I said no, and the reason why, I got family, close family. My uncles and aunts, cousins, people that I grew up with, friend of mine that I consider my friend, and I'm a Christian, so I have brothers in Christ that actually consider brothers of mine, even though we don't share the same blood, that they are suffering right now. The other day, it was sad for me that I had to hear my own cousin in Santiago de Cuba explain me how to eat the plantain. The outside of the plantain, how to fry it. And I was like, cousin, you are kidding. you actually playing with me. I mean, you are joking. You cannot tell me the truth. Like, cousin, from the bottom of my heart, I'm telling you, this is how we're living right now. My little grand cousin, I mean, his daughter, she has what we call sarna, like a skin. They don't have the medicine to cure that. They don't have the medicine to treat that. And it's something, that kind of thing you only see in a very poor country, like the health and actually the care of yourself is so low that you cannot afford to take a shower. And it's very, really, really sad to actually hear my family.
And there's very little portable running water in some areas as well.
That's the other thing. In Santiago de Cuba, she showed me the water, like they filter through the filter over there. It was literally, I'm telling you guys, it was literally dark, like green. Like you cannot tell that thing was actually clear, like, clear and clear, that it's supposed to. Like the water we drink over here is, well, it's a glass. And she said, like, sometimes I feel like I can drink it straight from the faucet. It will be no difference to me, because
Okay,
it's the same water.
just so people understand what sarna is in English, it is called scabies, and
Scabies.
it's not an infection, it's an infestation. There are tiny little mites that
Mhm.
basically live in the layers of your skin, and then you get rashes. And the more that they go inside your skin and they lay eggs, the more it itches. So that's a big problem right now because of the unsanitary solutions in this COVID-19 paradise where
Mhm.
nobody gets infected ever, and we have the best hospitals and the most doctors, and they go all over the world.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
That is something. That is something I will tell you. That is something that you don't haven't seen in Cuba. The number one or one of the highest, health care system, that the one of the
Another
best one. Long time
line.
ago. Long time ago. And now you see people suffering. But that's the scary part and the sad part to me is that my grand cousin tells me, no, it's not just me, adult people, young people. It also includes babies
Oh my
from the
God,
hospital
babies, man.
involved
Wait,
on
they
that.
got it at
And
the hospital?
yeah,
Oh
they
God.
were telling me that they contract that at the hospital, and they say
Many,
it's an allergy.
Oh
yeah.
God.
So
Okay.
many. I have heard this, and many people don't want when they're sick. They're afraid to go to the hospitals because of what they can get at the hospitals.
Mhm.
Because there's so many contagious diseases that they can get at the hospitals.
Mhm.
So it's worse to go to the hospitals than it is to stay at home when you're sick sometimes.
Right.
When
Yeah,
people go to the hospital, they got to take their own blankets, their own pillow, their own sometimes even a bucket to clean the room. They got to take everything from their house to go to the hospital.
Right.
I was watching Otaola show the other day. What you guys seeing and what the world is seeing is nothing. Sometimes compared to what the real thing is happening, is worse.
I
You
have seen,
know,
I have seen it in
pregnant
person.
women, pregnant women, they're sleeping on the floor literally. When you're supposed to have all kind of condition, all that insanity is crazy, and it's happening. And the sad part is that people still, some of them, still support that dictatorship, and
Huh.
makes me angry.
I don't
And
think
the
that
thing.
Michael Moore heard you or talked to you when he made that movie Sicko, Ernesto.
No,
Right
man,
now,
definitely not.
let's go ahead and give the
Let's,
mic to Licenciado Osmel Benitez.
All right.
Thank
Hi,
you, Ernesto.
you guys doing
hello.
okay?
Hello, Benitez. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Tampa. I
Oh,
live
okay.
I live in Tampa. Yeah, I've been here in Tampa almost for 15 years now. A little
Okay.
over 14 years. Uh, so came from Cuba 2006. The situation in Cuba, we all know. No travel to Cuba. We know. Somebody was saying that he was a tour guide. I used to be a tour guide in Cuba. I did tour guiding back in 2002, 2001, I believe, because I was working for English speaking people and Italians too, and they stopped going to Cuba after 9/11. They stopped going to that area in Cuba. Let's be more specific. I used to work in Cayo Coco and Cayo Guillermo. in Cebolera. Well, the fact of the matter is that we all know the situation in Cuba, how bad it is when it comes to everything. All kind of services in Cuba, they really suck. It's all messed up. We all know that, and we have to let the people, the outside world, know the real Cuba, where people are not allowed to speak freely. You can't speak your mind. You have
Right.
your control. Everything is controlled. And for us, when we go to Cuba, like right now with the situation that's going on with the COVID-19 in Cuba, I was listening to Walter Holla, and he was mentioning something that they said that it was. I can't remember exactly which agency said it in Cuba that people are going to test it. Whoever travels to Cuba, they're going to get one of those quick tests,
Right.
and they're going to be given the results like almost right away. And but can you
Yeah, they're
mind?
not gonna hold, so they're not going to hold you for the 15 days.
But,
They're
but you would
right.
probably, whoever goes there will probably test positive
Right.
because they want your money. That's what they want. So they one of those places that are really have no conditions at all whatsoever. And on top of that, if we go there, we have to pay. So is it a good idea to go to a place where you will probably be tested and tested positive, and they will keep you there for as long as they want, and then you will be paying? And there will be the moment that you won't have money, and your family, if you have family or friends over here, we have to send you more money because it's it's funny. So how well it's funny, in the way that I mean funny. It's not funny with them.
Yeah.
If you're there, you get trapped by them. So you're gonna be paying the ones that have to release you. So they're gonna keep you there for as long as they want.
Of course.
It's very risky.
Yeah,
So
it's very risky. And what people don't understand, when you travel to Cuba, once you're in their territory, you're in their territory. You have to abide by their laws. I don't care where you're coming from, and what citizenship you have.
exactly, that's one of the reasons.
In their territory, you have to abide by their laws, and they can do with you as they wish. And
That's
they will.
That's one of the main reasons why they forced us. They're forcing us to keep a Cuban passport.
Right.
Because like myself, I'm an American citizen. Hey, Riquet, this is for you, buddy. I'm a proud American citizen.
There you
And,
go.
why do we have to use a Cuban passport? Because I
Right.
travel to different countries, and all I need is my U.S. passport. That's it. So they keep us, or they force Cubans to keep that Cuban passport. One of the reasons is the money, of course, but for me, as I see it, is the main reason is they control you, because anything that happens there, they will tell you which passport did you use to come here.
Right.
The Cuban
Yeah.
passport. So you're Cuban. Don't come here. Don't come here saying you're American. No, you're Cuban.
And even if you're from another country, listen, as long, they tell you, and it's on their guidelines. It's on their, if you once you're in their territory, you're within, you have to abide by their laws. And
There are no rules in a dictatorship.
exactly,
Do whatever they-
exactly.
So and that
It's like Osmel was saying. You are a Cuban with no rights, but with obligations. So you had to
they don't
do
want
what they
they
want
want
to
our money.
with
They
that.
really don't want us. They don't like us at all. So
Exactly.
I'm gonna say something, and it's boom, my mind went blank.
You can think about it in a little bit. Let's
Yeah.
give the mic now.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Da Vinci, do you want to say a few words?
He's muted.
Yeah, you need to click on the mic so you can. There you go. Oh,
One
there
more
you
time.
go.
Hello, how are you? Where are you?
Yeah,
From?
I live in New England.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Well,
How
I
do
have
you
a
feel
couple of
about
things to say. Hello to everybody. let me say a couple of things real quick. I'm anti-communist. I'm Cuban.
Okay.
You through five members of this um, meeting or the video conference can see that they got the opportunity to meet the Cuban Missile. I born in September when the Cuban Missile crisis happened in October in Cuba in 1962.
Whoa.
Oh, well.
I left Cuba
Wow.
35 years ago. I haven't go back.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's there. I haven't seen my mom since. My father is in the United States in 52 years ago.
Right.
And my recommendation for most American, because wherever I go and visit, I'm proud to be Cuban. I carry two flags, the American and the anti-communist. Also have the Cuban flag in my heart. But the main reason that I don't recommend to travel to Cuba is not for the insanitary conditions and the poor conditions, is for the obligation and the dignity
Yes, sir.
of humankind. We should not travel to Cuba because it's not only traveling, also send money as a family member is cooperating with a dictatorship,
Right.
which is oppresses the countries, no freedom of speech, no freedom of traveling, no freedom of private property, and so on and so on. Yeah, it is a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful island. It's a big island. It's 90 miles away from the continent of North America, but it's still in America. It's a Latin American. I don't believe it's 14 million people. I don't know that number. I haven't go back in Cuba for
11.
35 years. But my main reason to not recommend people to travel to Cuba is number one, you're not under jurisdiction of the United States. You are on the mercy of dictatorship government.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They can. It could be costly. It could be costly for even the born naturally in Cuba people. They can retain your passport. They can hold you down. It will cost you money. They promote prostitution. They promote all kind of unhuman things that I don't agree with it.
Right.
Yeah, they got old cars. Um,
Yeah.
I really put myself in the hard situation being Cuban because a lot of Afro Americans or Puerto Ricans or another Mexicans or nationalities, the multicultural, because I live in the democratic state,
Right.
is one of the state, the sanctuary cities. I mean, illegal are allowed to be in this state in New England, one of the founders of the nation, the United States,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first 13 colonies. But
Okay.
the main reason that why we don't all travel together to Cuba to bring democracy, to bring freedom, to
Yeah.
bring progress,
We wish. They won't
to
let
help people, to help people, to
Right.
help people to reestablish a constitution and a
Right.
democracy
Right.
way of government.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
my suggestion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I had nothing to do going visiting Cuba. I don't recommend it. I tell people, hey, if you can go, good for you. Go visit my mother, but you're on your own. And it's a
That's right.
risky move. It's very risky, and I don't recommend risky.
Yeah.
I'd rather to use invest money on the market, be risky and aggressive, money-wise,
Yeah.
than go to Cuba and be in paradise, and you might get sick and you might die
Yep.
Yeah.
because they're
Right.
not the hospital or education, or how do you call that, potential medicine. I don't think so. That was a lie from Castro. It's a lot of lies.
Just
Yeah.
like many lies, right? So I want
Oh.
to commend Mr. Vinci because he's from the old exile. And you know, a lot of the newer generation don't remember this, but when the older generations, and I include myself in that, although I'm not that old, but I came when I was very young in the 80s. A lot of the older generations, we could not go back. We were not allowed. We didn't have the means. There was no way of, they wouldn't allow us. And many of us had the conviction. My parent, my mother, many of the older generation, they had the conviction that they would not go back until those people were out of their country. And so, and I have to commend them because they stood their grounds. And we need to go back to that, because it's absolutely true. We can't continue to give our dollars to that government. We just can't. So thank you.
And you know the reason why they didn't allow the ones that came before us to go back to Cuba. One of the main reasons is because they had the support of Eastern Europe, so they basically they were living off them, and they didn't need, between quotation marks, they didn't need the money from us, and we have to remember they wanted to keep Cuba so close, because after 1990, with the collapse of the ex-Soviet Union and all the Eastern European countries regime, they had to open to the world. So they had to. It was Castro said back then, it was a necessary evil. That's how he put it to the people. They said we're going to start welcoming tourists, but remember, they are our enemies.
Yeah.
So, but we have to, like you said, it's if the ones that came before us did it, because they were forced to do that, they couldn't go back to the island. So
many of them, once they opened up, they didn't go. They didn't go, just like Mr. Vinci. I mean, I'm sure he had possibilities to go back if he wanted to, but he had the conviction. So we have to have that conviction, that and especially at this point in time in history, because we're at a critical time in our history, and for those of you that don't know and don't understand what's happening, what is happening now is very critical for our country. We're at an extremely critical time, and we need everybody's help, because if we all pull together and if we pull our forces, it will be less time, and we can make this happen faster.
Hold on, because we have.
I want to emphasize. I want to emphasize in something very important.
Yes, Mr. Vinci.
When Cuba government, which is wrong, it's not a government. A dictatorship is not a good governmental organization, or whatever you want to call it.
It's a mafia.
They lost the money. When they lost the money and the help from Russia, okay, they also, we need to remember, because I have good memory. In 1980, Fidel says that we don't want them. We don't need them.
I remember, we don't need them.
Okay.
I was
now,
one of them.
we left. We left. Let me finish. We left on the one condition, one way, no returns. Later on, they changed the game and the manipulation of the mind, because they don't have money from Russia coming no more. Now they want me. They want me to go back repatriado, or they want me to go invest money in Cuba, or they want me to bring travelers to Cuba. I cannot support a government, in quote, let's say government. I cannot support a dictatorship who obligate me to leave my country or born city, where I born, where I'm, then I had to pay $450 to get a second passport when I already have one. The United States allowed me to travel 178 countries on the planet. Why should I go back to Cuba using the Cuban passport, bringing dollars to the dictatorship? They obligate me, and they said they don't want me, they don't need me.
Right.
Now they changed the game because they don't get Russian money, and now they want my dollars. I cannot comprehend that.
Right.
How can I go back to a place that don't treat me like a king?
I'm in agreement.
Very well put, Da Vinci.
Yeah.
We have Guillermo, a very handsome man in the house.
Yeah,
Hey guys, let me talk to you really fast. My English it's not really good, but I have a really point experience. I used to promote tourism to Cuba for like 5 years. By the way, we have an Airbnb that my family was running in Cuba. But the last time that I visited Cuba, I almost got into jail. Why? Because I was promoting the democracy and everything. I was a member of Somos Mas, and they were waiting for me. I have an interview with Seguridad del Estado, whatever they call that.
The state security agents.
And then, I had to play some games to avoid they leave me there like a year. So I played different games. Okay, and then when I came back here last year, I talked to Eliezer and say what happened. But I told them, hey, why are you taking me in the jail? Because I'm writing some stuff in Facebook where it's a freedom, where I have a free speech. Why do you do that? I was selling the tourists to Cuba. You guys make more than $250,000 because I was promoting like 15 houses in the La Boca beach. So I was hosting 25 houses around the Trinidad. It was not making profit for me. It was making profit for all of my friends that has houses over there. It was really complicated. I was in the point, almost stuck in Cuba. So I had to say something like play the game to come back to the United States. Now we cannot go anymore to Cuba. I cannot go anymore. I can't see my father anymore. But now I'm against all of this. So they put me in the point to play in the other side of the game. You know what I mean? Now I block anybody to go to Cuba. No, don't go to Cuba. All this money, if it was going to support the dictator. That's all I wanted to tell you guys. Sorry, I'm working. I cannot be for a long time here.
Bye, honey.
Thank you, Guillermo.
I'm going to step out. I'm going to step out for a minute so I can share because it doesn't give me the options of sharing while I'm in the chat.
Yes, you can share it from Facebook or YouTube, Da Vinci. Thank you.
I want to make a quick comment. There were two comments on the chat that Anel Gaspa was talking about the communist propaganda, and you're right, Anel, we have to, they have made, the communists has made a very good propaganda with tourism. They sell it like hot pancakes. And so this is why we have to combat. This is why we're doing this, and the world needs to see the reality of what that is, because it's not what they're selling you. And then there's a gentleman by the name of Garcia, and he said it's time to do something. Well, Mr. Garcia, we are doing something. This is what we're doing. If you want to do something yourself, do it. For those of you that think that this is not working, I have news for you. This social media is working, and it's getting everywhere, and it's working more than a lot of people think. Social media is really getting, information is getting to people, and this is how we're combating communism. And if you have a better way of doing it, please, by all means, do it.
Osmel, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to add to that. Thank you. Social media does work. I was watching. I was watching the other day on Netflix. I was watching a series. It was about this. Can't remember her name. It was a black woman. She was only 16 when she shot and killed a man. She was prostituting herself at age of 16. So she was taken to court. You know, tried as a child, as a juvenile, but then like a year later, she was tried. She was tried as an adult, so she was taken to prison. Well, to make a long story short, there was somebody knew about that and decided, in social media, sending messages and hashtags and things like that, and Twitter. And the thing is, she was free from prison for all the pressure that people did in the case, because she was tried again and considered that she was a victim, not that she was really what's the word, un asesina, killer, or
Right.
so that's showing. It shows that social media does work, and if it didn't work, if it's not doing anything, why are the communists so concerned about what we do here?
Exactly. Jose,
How's
Jose.
Yeah, social media is working. This is why the illegitimate president of Cuba just a couple of days ago came out denouncing the attacks on social media coming from the U.S. Another thing, social media worked in Egypt. It also or to get people to inspire people to get out. In Cuba, there's a dictatorship. People have fear of expressing their opinion and of going out there in the streets and saying what they say because that it's a regime. It's a military structure that oppresses people or that has a control system to make sure that doesn't happen. And the only way that's going to happen is if people get inspired and get the information from us. When you go to Cuba, you're going to put in the TV, there's only going to be two channels. They're both from national media. And they're going to tell you the story that they want you to know, which is a very censored and very manipulated story. So people stay within a doctrine. And everybody from the outside, once you go in and stay for 2-3 days, you're going to find that out. That's why we're telling you not to go, because right now people are finally open to this world and they're finally getting inspired by us, and we will join them once they get that. But right now they're not inspired. Right now they're not in the streets yet, so there's no point on us going there, getting locked up, or getting into a spot where we are not effective anymore. So since they pay attention to us and that dictatorship keeps denouncing everything we say every day, well, that's why they're gonna get more of this until people get out, and then they'll have us there too. So that's my 2 words.
You know, that reminds me that I had a friend in Miami that went to Cuba, and he told me that it was like going to a Caribbean North Korea. That's it.
And Nestor has a comment.
Yeah, I would say like I'm agree with you guys. Social media is actually creating a big impact more than what they were expecting. You know, we actually revolutionized their minds and showing that they are not alone. Because I believe for some period of time, the communication between the exile here in the United States and around the world and in the inside, they were actually disconnecting each other, thinking like, hey, they forgot about us. You know, we are alone, stuff like that. And now with all this social media, the influencers are attacking directly to the dictatorship or whatever that is called, because it doesn't to me doesn't have a name. It actually brings everybody together on some point. And today Otaola was actually saying that 561 fake accounts were closing, or they closed it because they were related with the communists. So it's actually creating and a scaring, feeling in between there. We doing what we're doing, and
That's
we
right.
we have to keep doing it. We have to actually fighting. Don't stop. We cannot stop. We cannot stop. Slowing down. We actually press the gas all
Yes.
the way down
Yes.
until we kill them all. Because now we got it what we wanted, and like I told Eliezer one time, we are the snipers. The snipers always waiting for the right time and the right moment.
That's right.
We just got it right now.
Yep.
This is the moment. You cannot let it go. You cannot change your
They're in
eyes.
the corner. They're in the corner. We gotta finish it. We gotta finish
And this
it.
is the shot that we need to do. The first thing we need to do is vote for President Trump and keep helping us. Like
I
as Mel
already
was
did.
saying, keep American again. I'm coming tomorrow. Hey, Ricky, I'm going tomorrow because I'm going to travel all the way from Tampa because I'm raised on Kingsland. So I'm
Okay.
going. Me and my wife, we go all the way to Tampa. I mean to Kingsland, Georgia, just to vote because we don't want the communists coming to this great country, the country that
Sure.
actually opened the door for everybody. You know, we don't want that cancer getting this country. And second, keep fighting for our country. That's goal number one is that one. But from right now, we had to vote. We had to keep the freedom that we got over here. We cannot let the communists get inside.
We can't lose a second country. I would not be able to bear, losing a second country. And, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, you really don't know what losing your freedom is until you don't have it.
And that was funny because the other day, a friend of mine worked with me. He's a Venezuelan guy. And I see another Venezuela supporting Biden. And me and him got an argument saying, man, I cannot believe what you're saying, because you look at your country. It looks like you don't want your country because he was saying, oh, I had 13 years living in this country, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, turn around for a second. Forget about Donald Trump. Forget about everything. Look at what is happening in your country. Do you want that in this country that opens the door 30 years ago to you and, receive you with the open hands? Is that what you want here? Because that would be a selfish decision if you tell me yes. And a friend of mine, actually, he was Venezuelan. He said, I don't care what my friend said. I want everybody to respect my opinion. But I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because I don't want communism and a socialism and Marxism came to this country. And I comment right back. I say, I agree with you. Nobody in the United States, beside the people that actually suffer, like Venezuela, Nicaraguans, and Cubans, can tell how dangerous, how bad, how, any possible word to describe destruction is a communism on the country. It destroyed it completely from bottom to top and top to bottom, back and forth. And say nobody can teach us how that thing is bad. So leave people of the United States, American citizen, everybody can vote. Listen us when we say, do not let that thing come to here, because you don't know what is living with no freedom, on oppression the whole time, with no choices, with no future, and with everything lost, and so completely like a slave with no rights.
That's an excellent statement, Ernesto. Iskra, it's been an hour and 27 minutes. I think we can start to wrap it up, guys. What do you think?
Okay. Well, anybody? Yeah.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
finish with an idea there. So right now, this is a very important moment for Cuba, and I believe all the changes and the things that we're seeing is due to the fact that people are not only listening to what's happening in Cuba, but they are watching what's happening. So that's the difference, because we've been like Radio Marti and some other things before us. They were denouncing all this situation in Cuba. It's not the same to say two women were beaten in Havana by the police than saying that and show it with images. So people are seeing exactly what's happening. That's one of the things. And why Donald Trump? I believe Donald Trump because they don't have a way of escaping right now, escaping the situation, because they did it before. They did it in 1960. There was an exile 1960, 1970, Camarioca, 1980, they did with
Mariel.
Mariel, 1994, it was the crisis of the rafters.
Yep.
And after the year 2000, people have been, like escaping the island, that jail, the Alcatraz, escaping the island through the Latin American and making it to the United States. Right now, with Donald Trump, that's not happening. That's why they are so scared. That's one of the reasons they are so scared that Donald Trump is going to be reelected. Like you said, vote, vote, vote. Trump is our only option to keep away from the U.S. and to put an end to that mafia that's been in Cuba for more than half a century.
Thank you. Thank you. Ernesto.
Yeah, I wanna actually wrap it up because I'm leaving. I got two beautiful dogs that they actually are right around, kind of like wants me. The people need to be think about it very quickly and very carefully when they call Donald Trump dictator. A dictator. You guys need to understand what a dictator means and real mean, because Donald Trump not even close to what a dictator looks like. If they want to know what a dictator looks like, go to back 90 miles down south, and they can actually look at what the dictator looks like, how that evil person kept entire 60 something years a country suffering and actually making miserable their life every single day since they came to in power. So that's a real dictator. Every time that they call Donald Trump, say he's not a dictator even close. Go down south and you will see an example of what a dictator is and what he can do when he got power. So stop saying that because you guys doesn't know. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm
Thank
enjoy.
you,
I'm
Ernesto.
gonna try to
Excellent.
be here. More
Last
often.
comments from you? Thank you.
And
Yes,
this is a good
sir.
Any last
idea. This is a good idea. Keep it, the English to those English listener and
We're
speaking.
gonna try
So
once a week, right, Rickett?
I think
also.
so. Every Monday.
Yeah.
All
Somos
right,
más
guys.
inglés.
Somos man. There we go. And Tron 2020, guys.
Trust
Yeah.
2020. Take care, Ernesto.
See ya.
Jose, any last comments from you?
Yeah, my last comments is to any person who speaks English and is not Cuban out there, be part of history. Join us to finally defeat and take away that dictatorship and take that evil from the world. You can really help and contribute by telling others not to travel to Cuba and to really join. It really doesn't matter who you are, what you think, or what you believe in, but you can really make a difference in people's lives. It'll be a difference that many people will without knowing thank you for. So that's my last thoughts, and hopefully you understand that you could really help our cause right now by not traveling to Cuba.
Thank you, Jose. I appreciate that, my friend.
Well, thank you guys.
Before we go, I want to show you this comment. So this is the type of person that will go to Cuba, and be in solidarity with the communists over there, and maybe they get a little drunk, they have a little too much rum, too many mojitos, and then they maybe they find like a young girl that they like, and they sleep with her, and what he doesn't know is that the Cuban government is videotaping him having sex with a minor, but then they tap him on the shoulder the next day and they say, hey, so here's this footage. You work for us now, right? That happens a lot.
I can't
Andreas
read.
Gom.
You want to read? You want to read the comment because I can't read it. It's too
It
small.
says, oh, it seems that education in politics and history is urgently needed here. You guys are not of the higher moral when you are supporting a pussy grabber, a constant and pathological liar, an anti-democrat, and a hater such as Donald Trump. Shame on you. With Donald Trump, you betray all the values you claim to stand for. This person either doesn't know what goes on in Cuba, or when he went there, he participated in the oppression of the Cuban people, or he's also somebody that is being blackmailed.
He's
That
also
also
making a big
works.
assumption. Sorry, Ricky. He's making a big assumption that we all vote the same or think alike, which is
Exactly.
very ironic of him saying that.
Exactly. There's only like 1, 2, 3 people that actually said that. So
I think there's he's making a big assumption, and Mr. Gum, personally, I don't like Donald Trump per se. I don't like his persona. I don't like a lot of his statements. But I don't have to. I don't have to like him personally. I like what he stands for. I like the fact that he is going to stop socialism from coming into this country, my country, because I would not be able to stand losing a second country to socialism and Marxism. And I will tell you, Mr. Gum, you don't want to live what we Cubans have lived through. because if you think that what you have here in the United States today is bad, I don't see anyone in the States flying into any socialist country. Yet, every day, people are trying to leave Cuba and every other socialist country, and they will go to extremes to do so. They will put their lives at risk to do so. We're looking just for one thing, sir: freedom. Let's not lose it. Let's not lose freedom.
Thank you,
The
Iskra.
difference is we're free to talk. We're free to say whatever we want, and that's what people don't understand. And that's what freedom is about: to represent and give support and say whatever you are free to do.
It says Andrea says that we're picking only one aspect from a whole package he stands for. Yes, it's called single issue voter, Andreas. It's a thing that occurs. I understand. I'm black, so you think that maybe I am not black enough because I'm not voting for Biden. But no, I'm also Cuban, so I'm like an onion, Andreas. I have layers.
And we're all Hispanic. We're all immigrants. We're all minorities. Unfortunately, you have boxed us all into one box, and we won't let you box us in.
I mean, I don't have to justify myself, but I voted for Obama twice. Then I voted for Gary Johnson, and now I'm voting for Trump because of how he stood in the United Nations with only maybe Bolsonaro from Brazil, the only like two guys that strongly said, we oppose communism, we oppose the Cuban dictatorship. Okay? The whole 200 countries.
Communism should be forbidden in the United States. And all around.
That's right.
I think that's it for tonight, Lazaro.
We have done well.
Iskra, that was a great idea. Thanks, Riquet. I hope that we make it again and again and again, not only in English, in other language also. So we are here.
Hold on. We have one last person in here. I think. Let's see what they have to say before we go.
Oh, okay.
Danger, you're the last person. He's too dangerous. So yes.
Maria,
thank you guys.
Cuscus, Eduardo, thanks to be here. Vivian, everybody, thanks to be here.
Join us in the chat.
Good.
Thanks to all the participants.
Love it, brother. Love it.
Tonight till next Monday. Tomorrow we have another about this this moment in Spanish, because we are gonna have another debate about this journal October 10 tomorrow at the same time, and next Monday maybe.
Yes, next Monday we're gonna have a topic. It could be agriculture, it could be the medicine, it could be education, it could be policing, it could be whatever. The ecology, right? The ecosystem, the environment, which is ruined as well. So many things. Hygiene, who knows? So stay tuned, guys.
A good team, more. Every day. Thanks, Osmel. Thanks, Iskra. Thanks, Riquet. Thanks to all the participants today.
Thank you, Lazaro.
So we are going with a video, reasons to not travel to Cuba, and till next time.
Awesome. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hola amigos, soy Analogías de Lola. Nadie me conoce ni soy actriz, pero eso no es importante. Mi cariño para todos. Estoy aquí para llamarle la atención sobre algo que me parece atractivo. No se les ocurre ir de viajes a Cuba ni a sus instalaciones turísticas. Sí, pase un fin de semana en las instalaciones hoteleras de Marbella, Italia, Suecia, Orlando, Las Vegas. ¡Súper regalo! Múltiples ofertas para que no se exponga en Cuba en tiempos de la COVID. ¿Y qué peor que dentro de Cuba, donde se respira hambre, mucha cola y sobre todo represión? Haga su reserva aquí, en cualquier parte del mundo menos Cuba. Sitio web www.noviajacuba.paronhastadiciembre.com. Ay, que no se les ocurra, se los digo yo. Un beso para todos.
Yo, mientras haya comunismo, mientras yo tenga que pedir permiso para salir del lugar donde nací, para poder entrar al lugar donde vivo ahora, pues no iré más. Entonces, aquí yo tengo mis dos nacionalidades, de las cuales Cuba no me reconoce esta que me da de comer, esta que me dio libertad, esta que me dio, pues, la posibilidad de pensar como yo quiero, o por lo menos de expresarme como yo quiero. Y esta que fue la que yo nací, donde yo me crié y donde tuve mi hija. Pero yo no le voy a pagar a estas personas que están gobernando este país ni un euro. Esta es mi nacionalidad y esta también. Pero este pasaporte me sirve para moverme hacia todo el mundo porque soy ciudadana española, menos a Cuba. Y este solo me sirve para ir a Cuba y pensarse ellos si me pueden dejar salir de nuevo o no. Es el pasaporte más caro del mundo. Por tanto y demás, aprovecho que estamos aquí conversando un poquito para lo que debemos hacer todos los cubanos, y es hacer trizas. Esta es la que te va a pagar €1 para comprar en las tiendas, la que va a pagar unas recargas, la que te va a pagar un vuelo, la que te va a pagar nada. A tomar por culo.
Mira, dime acá. ¿Sabes qué voy a hacer yo con esto? Ahí me van a ir acá. Mira que lo voy a hacer yo con esto, A mí tú no me vas a coger más para eso, juguetón. Eso lo voy a hacer yo con esto ya, mira. ¿Sabes qué lo voy a hacer yo con esto? ¿Tú sabes lo que es?
¡Bravo! Ya sabemos lo que vas a hacer. Lo picoteó todo. Hizo picadillo de pasaporte. Mira este otro muchacho. Como un acto de magia.
Tú eres un cingado, mi hermano. Esto es lo que hay que hacer con los cingados. Ustedes, aquí no hay $400 para nadie. Ustedes se van para el carajo, loco. Para el carajo. La tijera está de madre. Ustedes son los descarados.
Exactamente. Lo que voy a hacer, ya lo sé, el pasaporte. Mira. Mira. Año 98. Y una visa a Cuba. Y un papelito a Cuba. Esto es para que tú veas lo que voy a hacer yo. Ya no cuente más conmigo. Mira, descarén.
Reto aceptado, voy a romper mi pasaporte cubano, no está vencido. Miren la fecha, está actualizado. Se vence en el 2023. Me encanta la música para cuando.
¡Ya, Canel!
Cingao.
¡Ya, Canel! Pasaporte cubano, ¿no? Mira lo que hago con el pasaporte cubano, güey. nunca he ido a Cuba y hasta que ustedes no se vayan de ahí el pueblo, no iré a Cuba.
Que la esperanza resentida, que la oración que busca el verbo, con tormentas y sus riesgos, entre cielo, tierra y mar.